Santa's getting snagged. The Easter Bunny's getting kidnapped. Evil is stealing away all the holiday leaders and taking over. Now only Jack Skellington has the power to bring them back. Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge, the video game.
The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge. I got my copy a little while back, and I've really been looking forward to playing it. In 2003, Disney considered making a sequel to The Nightmare Before Christmas using CG animation, but creator Tim Burton had convinced them not to move forward with it. Burton felt a sequel would take away from the first, and it would lose its purity. A game was on the way though, so that would serve as a sequel instead. The developers made sure to consult Tim Burton and the film's art director, Deanne Taylor, along with others involved in the movie, in order to get tips and advice on how to make the game feel as authentic of a sequel as possible. It released in 2004 in Japan and 2005 in other regions for Xbox and PS2. A GameCube version was apparently planned, but sadly, it got cancelled. Around the same time that the game was released worldwide, another game for the Game Boy Advance was also released, The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Pumpkin King, and this one served as a prequel to the film. Oogie's Revenge picks up a year after the events of the movie, with Jack, once again, feeling like they need to do something to revamp Halloween. He speaks to Dr. Finkelstein about making improvements for next Halloween, and Jack sets off to find new chills and thrills. But before you can leave town, the doctor gives you the Soul Robber, and trust me, you're not gonna forget what this thing is called.
He's enjoying our
But yeah, it's basically a magic whip. So Jack leaves, and of course, the trio of Lock, Shock, and Barrel go and revive Oogie, who takes over Halloween Town while Jack is away, and sets his sights on ruling over all the holidays, becoming the 7 Holidays King. The game consists of 24 chapters with 2 secret chapters thrown into the mix. You'll get a letter grade for each level you beat, with S being the best, and depending on your grade, you can unlock figures. Jack returns to Halloween Town on Christmas Eve to find it deserted, and immediately you're attacked by skeletons. Use the Soul Robber to defend yourself. Also, make sure to turn on the enemy health gauge because I think it'll help. Also, the gameplay is a lot like Devil May Cry, another Capcom game. This is Halloween is playing in the background, and get used to that because you're going to be hearing it a lot. There's a couple of other songs that seemed like they were constantly playing, but this one drove me crazy. After defeating the skeletons, Jack learns that Oogie has been resurrected and taken over Halloween Town. Oogie managed to trick the citizens into booby-trapping the town with them hoping to impress Jack. Well, that didn't work. Enter Town Hall and encounter Oogie's shadow. Avoid enemy attacks and hit Oogie when you can, collecting musical notes that will lead to a quick time event musical number once you've collected enough. And that will do a lot of damage to Oogie. Oogie's shadow retreats and you earn your first holiday door. This, of course, being the door for Halloween Town. Like all the other doors you'll collect throughout the game, it needs to be returned to its tree, and no, sadly, you can't go to all the other holiday worlds. You can go to Christmas Town, though. Also, you're in Halloween Town, but then there's a Halloween Town door. So, I was just wondering, what would happen if you went through that? Would you just come out the same place that you went in? I don't know. I mean, I know they needed an excuse to include that in the game, but, it's kind of a plot hole. Speak to Corpse Kid, then head to the witch's shop where you can purchase items and upgrades using the coins that you collect around the world and from defeating enemies. Speak to Corpse Kid again about where to find the key to the main gate, and he tells you he believes Clown has it, but doesn't know where he is. But don't worry, because the game tells you right away. Go to him, defeat some enemies, and he'll tell you he forgot where he put it. Also, this is the first hidden place, and there's a lot more that you'll find throughout the game. Usually you'll defeat a horde of enemies and receive an item like a crystal skull. When you collect 4 crystal skulls, you can trade them in for a crystal bottle that holds fountain water, which restores your health. Alright, so you remember 10 seconds ago when I said that Clown said that he forgot the key or he lost it or whatever? Yeah, that doesn't matter because you get out of the sewer and he's literally there with the key waiting for you. Defeat some more enemies and Clown will unlock the gate, but then you're hit with some bad news. Sally was kidnapped and taken to the cemetery. In the cemetery, you notice Zero is missing too. Find the hanging tree and ask if he's seen Sally. He tells you he hasn't, but maybe his hanged men have. So you'll have Zero help you find the hanged men. And yeah, suddenly Zero is just back. Whatever. You're confronted by Lock, Shock, and Barrel, and Lock sends 20 skeletons after you. Anyway, so after that, Find the hangmen and return them to the hanging tree. Go around and repair the tombstones. The controls for this kind of sucked. I guess you're supposed to spam the grapple button, but it didn't always work. I don't know if there was a pattern or something that I wasn't picking up on, but it was annoying as hell. Afterward, talk to the hanging tree and get a tip on where you might find Sally. Find a note from Sally, encounter Locke again. You find Sally in a burial chamber, but have to battle a giant spider to free her. So free Sally, get the Valentine's Day door, and Sally will give you a key so that you could free Dr. Finkelstein. From this point on, the video will be mostly just pictures with me talking over them. I had some stuff come up, so this was the only way that I could still get the video out on time, because if not, I don't know when it would get out. So I hope you'll stick with it. Enjoy. Thank you for understanding. Pumpkin Jack has now been unlocked, which allows you to use flames against your enemies and access certain areas. Igor won't let you into the manor unless you bring him a biscuit from the witch's shop because he's hungry. Shock corners you and you have to defeat a bunch of ghosts before moving on. Then you get to the witch's shop and they already sold the last biscuit to Corpse Kid, but he'll give it to you if you're able to pass his quiz. Then you're able to deliver the biscuit to Igor. You'll have to disable a generator to get into the lab, but first, let's go talk to Sally. She tells you to make a soup that will knock the doctor out in case he tries to harm you, which is literally the soup that she made in the movie. Use the ingredient list and search the town for them. Then you return to Sally and she'll make you the soup. Return to the lab, disable the generator, and race to make it into the manor on time, with some dumbass minions trying to slow you down. Shock is waiting for you inside the manor because why not? And she tries rolling these big ass balls down at you, kind of like some Indiana Jones thing, but I guess in a spiral. So you catch her, and of course you let her go. The doctor's brain has been switched out with an evil one. Get behind him to lift his head, then go to the front and throw his real brain in. You only need to do it twice, and if you got the soup, you'll be given a small head start. So after you help the doctor, you'll receive the St. Patrick's Day door, and Sally will bring you your Santa costume. With the Santa costume, you can throw presents that will shock or freeze your enemies. Now get to the pumpkin patch and fight through some enemies as you test out the Santa suit. You'll run into Lock, Shock, and Barrel again, and they tease that they have big plans and something to do with the mayor's house. Make your way through Barrel's maze to get to the big pumpkin head. And it's not really much of a maze, honestly. You just hit these jack-o'-lanterns and then it'll clear your path. Climb into the pumpkin head and you'll fight series of enemies as you drop down different levels until you get to the bottom and fight Barrel and his stupid skeletons. So after you defeat Barrel, you receive the Thanksgiving door and a key to the residential area. Then do you want to guess what you do about Barrel? Throw him in a cell? Kill him? Nope. You let him go, trusting once again that he'll no longer be working with Oogie. Before you leave, make sure to grab that pumpkin so you can increase your maximum health. Go to the residential area and find Clown stuck on his unicycle because someone put an engine on it. You'll need to go back to the doctor's lab to get a tool to help Clown, and Doctor mentions Igor was having issues with something. Igor tells you someone has stolen his biscuits. He suspects something from under a manhole and asks for your help. Find the pothole behind the lab, defeat a giant spider, and get the biscuits back. Return them to Igor and get absolutely nothing in return when he literally said that he would help you with something. Whatever, I guess. Waste of time. Let's get back to the clown. Use the Santa Jack gifts to stop him, then get behind him and use the tool. He lets you know Oogie's monsters are after the vampires and unlocks the next gate to help you get through. Go to the vampire castle. Oogie has transformed them into bats. Find them and return them to their coffins. The first one is just outside the castle. When you return him, you learn what happened and he gives you the first of 4 keys to the mayor's house, with the other 3 being with the other brothers. With all 4 keys, head to the mayor's house. Place the keys into the floor out front, then get to the roof and free the mayor. He mentions he might have seen some goons at the very top that might have had a holiday door. When you get up there, you'll have to fight Lock, Shock, and Barrel, the first half with them in their tub, and then the second, them just running around, I guess. You win and get the Independence Day door, but because of a booby trap, you fall into Oogie's hideout. Work your way through a series of traps and find the holiday leaders in cages at the end, all except for Santa. Fight another giant spider, then afterwards a cage will descend that brings you back to town so that you could refuel if needed. When you're ready, go through the cage intended for Santa, and you'll have to pass through another series of booby traps. Find Oogie, and he tells you he plans on getting revenge on Santa himself. Once you defeat him, mainly by throwing dice into his mouth, it's revealed that it was actually Oogie's shadow, and Oogie is already in Christmas Town. You get the Easter door and plan to make your way to the hinterlands. You're finally able to make your way over to the iconic Spiral Hill, but first need Zero's help to find a gate key. Then when you're near the hill, you'll place the doors into stones that will extend the hill so that you could enter the hinterlands. Find the holiday trees and defeat enemies in timed battles to remove the Oogie doors from the trees. Now return to Spiral Hill and switch out the Oogie doors for the real ones. After switching the doors, you'll fight an Ice King and Fire King skeleton to get the Christmas door, and you'll be going to Christmas Town very soon. Return to the hinterlands and return the doors to their corresponding trees. Find the 7 holidays area and enter the Christmas door. It shows the mayor who's freeing all of the holiday leaders, although it doesn't show any of the holiday leaders. Then we cut back to Jack in Christmas Town. Help find all the ornaments for the big tree and restore Christmas Town. Oogie has Santa tied up and a train set to cut the rope that will drop and kill Santa. Divert the train as you try and destroy it while skeletons keep jumping at you and attacking you. When you free Santa, Oogie steals his sleigh, Sally shows up with the Halloween Town sleigh, and you and Santa will chase after him, but an elf lets you know he snuck a toy onto Santa's sleigh that will scare Oogie, making him fall. Oogie absorbs a bunch of trash and bugs from the 7 holiday junkyard and transforms into Mega Oogie. Jack and Santa catch up to him, but Santa has to go so that he can deliver the presents, and Jack will stay behind and take care of Oogie. For the fight with Oogie, honestly, just stay on the floor attacking his feet and his face when he falls. After you defeat him, there's a second section, which is another quick time musical battle. Oogie is defeated and left as a pile of trash. Santa thanks Jack, and it's great to see them finally on good terms. Jack realizes he already has everything he needs, and him and Sally share a moment on Spiral Hill. After the credits, you're given the Pajamas Jack costume. There's a few others to unlock, but none of these have special abilities. You can change into these in Jack's house, where you can also see your progress and figures you've unlocked, plus a few other things. There's some other cool stuff in this game, like the index, and the fact that you save the game by talking to 3 Mr. Hydes. And of course, all of the Easter eggs. The game received mediocre reviews when it was released, but I think it goes without saying, if you're a fan of the movie, you have to try and play this game. With all the locations, characters, and even some returning voice actors like Ken Page as the voice of Oogie, it really does feel like an authentic sequel. There's constantly been talks or rumors of another film in the universe and even a live-action remake. Okay, that one would be pretty cool, and I kind of want to see that. But nothing ever came to fruition. So for now, this game is the closest thing and was actually considered canon until the release of the novel, Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, which is now the canon sequel. Also, characters and locations from The Nightmare Before Christmas appear in the Kingdom Hearts series, so shout out Kingdom Hearts. Some of the game mechanics, like the camera and the targeting system, aren't always the best, and the gameplay does feel repetitive sometimes, but for me as a fan of the movie, the story does more than enough to make up for any issues. Even if I do wish they did a little bit more, like maybe at least a level in each of the other holiday worlds, but oh well. And for the game being 20 years old, the graphics still look pretty good to me, but the dim lighting sometimes was an issue. So bottom line, if you're a fan of the movie, definitely go play this, and if not, you won't be missing that much if you don't. So have you ever played The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge? What are your thoughts on it? I got a couple other videos on my channel like this one with plenty more on the way.